Good evening. Welcome back to the Hotshot Haven. Oh, how y'all doing this evening? Yeah, finna drop a little more game. What up, hey Josh? What's up, bro? What's up, man? What's the audio quality like, man? We rolling down the interstate, got these noise cancelers on and wanna know what the audio is like. Can y'all hear me pretty well? Yes, sir. Alright. Now that I know y'all can hear me good, I ain't gotta look at the camera no more. So don't be offended if I ain't looking at the camera. I'm driving. So, we ain't gonna read no comments, but we finna drop a little game today, you know. And we oftentimes do, you know what I'm saying? I bring content to you guys live. Cause stuff come to me, you know what I'm saying, as I go through my day that I think could really help some people. And I strive to do that. That what this all about. So what we're gonna talk about today is safety audits slash investigations. And that's what a safety audit is. A safety audit is an open investigation into the safe operations of your company. Done by who? The Department of Public Safety. Um, like start out by giving shout out to some guys, man. Chicago came, my guy. Big old salute, my guy Warren. Warren, he been holding it down for a long time. Couple of my guys, man. And one thing I say, um, especially when you're building a fleet and you got drivers, you got different trucks, you got different people, different personalities. It's a difficult thing to make all this stuff work with all these different people that have all these different mindset ways of working, and to actually get people to really get it. Like, I thank God for my guys, y'all. I thank God for every last one of y'all. Everybody in my family, my wife, I thank God for y'all. But what I'm coming to say, and the reason why I'm coming to say this is because a safety audit, which will occur on every MC and DOT number over a period of time, new entry audit, um, just straight up safety audit, from time to time. And, there are things you can do to trigger them, by surpassing certain thresholds in the safety with the CSA. Certain thresholds, if you go over a certain percentage of out of services or a certain percentage of violations in a particular area, the system will trigger a safety audit. But that is not to say anything about a new entrant, because every single new entrant, every person that is going to start to do this job and go into this field is going to have to deal with that within probably their first 14 months of being open. And I often have seen videos and I hear people talk about it, but most people, what I'm saying, it's one person. You know what I'm saying? It's one person. Q, it's one of those things where even for a new entrant, someone that has never had a violation ever, may have never even had an inspection before, it is one of the most nerve-wracking, most painstakingly serious investigations that you probably will ever go through as a company, because they want to see everything. Everything besides your money. They don't want to see your money. But everything that has to do with the day-to-day operations of that company, apologize that if y'all heard that GPS, sorry about that. But they want to see everything. And, it's one of those things where it's going to come into play to where your diligence and your record keeping ability and your ability to actually, hold on one second, y'all. GPS was steady going off in my ear, and I don't need it because I know where I live. I'm on my way home every day. But anyway, back to the thing. It's one of the most scariest times, most nerve-wracking times, because even though you may have all your ducks in a row and you give them everything they ask for, there's still a period of just not knowing. There's still just a period of what if. There's a time in between you submitting all the documents that they would like for you to submit and the time that it takes for them to give you a reply where you might lose sleep. you might, you might. And it wouldn't be unwarranted. It's something to lose a little sleep over. And like I said, I really thank God for my guys, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a team effort. All of this stuff that we do over here at Noble Enterprise consists of a team effort. I might be coaching, but at the same time, I ain't nobody boss. I can't control what a person does day to day in their truck halfway across the country. I have to trust that my ability to place the right people in the right position is substantial enough and good enough, and that I'm a good enough judge of character and working ability to where these people straight off the bat, I don't have to worry about them. And that's something that's so hard to do, you guys. You'll see more trucking companies fail because of the owner operators or the drivers, not the person that has their name on the check, but the people that are out working on a day to day basis, dealing with what they have to deal with on a day to day basis to continue to operate, time constraints, safety constraints, all that. Absolutely. All my matter say you will trigger an audit when you go past 20. Uh, sort of. Really, you can be past 20%. And what he means by 20, you guys, on the FMCSA page and a system called SMS, you can go look at um, your basically your score, your safety score, and you can also go look at um, each area in which you're being judged by to compile that percentage. And what my matter said is absolutely true. 20% is a gross percentage of out of service violations in comparison to good inspections. That most definitely will trigger an audit. But what actually starts to make that be one of those things where it's over 20%, that's one thing. But the audit will target a specific area of your safety. And that's where that percentage that triggered it now triggers something else in the system that goes and looks at the different events that happened and compiles those by percentages. And when you break a threshold on each one of those different areas, it triggers different types of audits, different types. And one of the most common audits to have is on hours of service, because most of the time, well, I'll say predominantly, most people keep pretty decent equipment. Most out of services, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say most out of service because I don't know the statistic, but I know that it should not be a situation where every single vehicle in your fleet that has ever been put out of service was put out of service for mechanical issues. It probably won't be that. It'll more than likely be something dealing with hours of service, the log book, or something of that nature where it triggers an audit. And we're gonna go into a little story time on the channel right quick and tell y'all about my last month and why I wanted to title this video is the Hotshot Haven about to leave. Oh, am I about to go? Hmm. Will the Department of Public Safety let the Hotshot Haven and his fleet continue to run? Story time. Probably about, say, about 4 weeks ago, maybe 4.5 weeks ago, I received an email. What's good, Walker Farm? I received an email from the Department of Public Safety, which I knew was coming. And this is where I got to tell you guys, you know what I'm saying? When you trigger an audit, it's not all of a sudden. It's not something that no one saw coming. When they, I'm gonna tell you like this. I've seen people that have channels that have had audits, in-home audits, after doing some stuff to equipment that they probably shouldn't have done on video. Probably shouldn't have done it on video, and it made good content to say, hey, somebody called in or a video, they told on me, and now I have an audit. I have a safety audit because they saw me on video, the video, which was crazy, showing the modification of a piece of equipment in a way that it shouldn't have been modified. Y'all see how I'm going around all that. I ain't finna talk about it, but it's same time where it shouldn't have been modified, and it made good content to say, hey, someone dropped a dime on me. Now I'm having an in-home safety audit, and it's a week long, and they won't leave until they see everything. Okay, newsflash. That is not why they came to that person's house. It's not how that works. Now, true, there can be something, i.e., behind. You got to think about it. You're not the only offender. You're not the only person in America that's doing this, and in certain aspects, doing it wrong. So, with all the people that system has to curtail and go through, there is a lapse in time between certain offenses that have actually put you over the mark and when the audit will happen. And this is because they're giving you a chance to go through and show them that you're better and you can do better inspections and you can bring your number down before they actually have the day of the audit where they recheck that number. If it's still where it was, we commence with the audit. That's how that works. And I'm getting y'all the game. That's how that works. So let's just say Joe Blow does something to a piece of equipment he shouldn't be doing, and Joe Bean over here in the corner sees it and calls those people. Unless it's something of dire emergency, get what? They're gonna take call 911 first. And y'all excuse the darkness. We finna talk here. And like I said, there is a leeway of time that is given in the system on purpose to give you an opportunity to correct your past errors. And I'll say it like this: during COVID 19, 2020, if you had a bad safety score or a subpar safety score or a low safety score with a high percentage of out of services, it was almost impossible to get that number down. The whole 2020, it was basically impossible. Need I remind you, 2020, COVID, they shut down all the states. They made cars, pedestrian four-wheel cars, go into the way station. Meanwhile, they flagged us through. Even in Florida, y'all, even in New York, I was there during COVID. I was there. Even in Washington State, where it was burnt, even in Arizona, even in Texas, Mississippi, Illinois, Montana, I was there during COVID. And what that meant was, by the country being in a state of emergency, all this freight being in an uproar, they made allotments for trucks to move way more freely, way more freely. So basically, you would see DOT officers pulling over cars left and right, cars and passenger cars and trucks left and right, SUVs left and right. Meanwhile, Big Rig was coming through at the time in a 60 doing 75 Hammer lane, and get what? They let him go. Get what? It's a police, a highway patrolman, DPS officer somewhere, you know what I'm saying, just because of what the conditions were at the time and it was a state of emergency, they watched a truck go by them in the morning at 7 in the morning and they was on shift. And get what? When they came back in the middle of the night or later on in the shift, if they pulled a double, they saw that same truck ride right past them again, going the opposite way, going back home after being out 16, 17 hours. It just was what it was, and I appreciate it. I made some money. I really did. But at the same time, by that being like that and by them leaving us alone, if your safety score wasn't quite where you needed it to be, it was hard to come back because the only way you could come back from that was to actually get a lot of good inspections. And to give you an idea of how these percentages work, if you had one bad inspection that puts you 100% in the bad, it would take you about 6 good inspections to get yourself under the 20% threshold it would take to be acceptable. So that's why I tell you guys, if you're gonna lease on people and stuff like that, you know what you're doing now, but give yourself a year. Give yourself a whole year and get as many good inspections as you can, because it can only do one thing, and that's pad the deck. It can pad it and make it so when things happen, which they may or may not, but when things happen, you can always live from Denver, my favorite state. That's my favorite state, y'all. But you can always have a little cushion to fall. And if you got 10 good inspections and you get one bad one, you'll probably be at about 8%, not 8.5, 9%, because you'll have 11 total inspections, 10 good ones, one bad one. And that's how that works. So, with that being said, it's totally public record. That's why when certain people put up videos about people stealing their number, using their number, getting violations on their number, and he had no idea, it's straight bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why that video came down immediately because he looked like a clown to himself. So, with that being said, it's public record. You go on the FMCSA page, you can go on Safer, you can check out this stuff. And if you took a time and just ran my number, you know, my safety record wasn't that good. And my number one thing was, you know what I'm saying, me personally, my owner operator too, um, had one that ain't with us no more. Is you know what I'm saying? And I say that cocaine the one ain't never had a violation. I sent them for too many $50 for having a good inspection. That's how I incentivize. You roll through the scale 5 times a day if you want to, and they inspect you 5 times. I'm gonna pay you $50 every time they do it, and I appreciate you. But get what? It ain't always like that. Because you got people that don't believe fat meat grease in certain cases where they unplug the law. You know what I'm saying? Do different stuff. They move when they shouldn't be moving. You know what I'm saying? Things like that happen. And when you get caught up and they check this stuff, they're going to put you out of service, falsify law books, things of that nature. And it begins to add up and accumulate. And you really need to, if you got 4 or 5 guys running, like I used to do, hey, I call my guy and be like, hey, man, I don't mean no harm, but make sure y'all shit right and y'all shit tight and go on through them scales, man, and see if y'all get some inspections up so we can get that number right. But they just weren't inspecting at the time, so there was nothing you could do about it. So, but with that being said, you have an opportunity there to actually lose your number. And when I say lose your number, I ain't talking about your phone number. I'm talking about your MC number, your DOT number, your authority. You have an opportunity right there sitting in your face to go out of business while doing pretty good business. So y'all jump up out of here, share this, and crank up this live and get some folks up in here. 'Cause I'm gonna tell the truth and shame the devil every time. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. I ain't gonna tell you nothing but the real. Every time I ain't finna sugarcoat. Nothing. Not a thing. Not a thing. So, okay, this how this went down. I'm gonna give y'all a rundown. Okay. It's September, like September 2020. My wife's birthday at the end of the month, like all the way at the end of the month of September. I'm out there running. I had did I had went up to New York on my way to Vermont, dropped some stuff off tractor, day spa with a running machine and a bike made into the pool. And y'all saw me. That was about 9,700 pounds on the deck, about $5.80 something cent a mile. Compounded with what I had on there already going, and I dropped two more. That beside the point. But that what was going on. So I'm making the turnaround from Vermont. I catch another load going to New Jersey. I take that to Jersey. I come out of Jersey. I get another load, compounding now. I get another load in Philly. I jump over there to Philly, grab that, and get the head down through Virginia. Okay, I'm on my stretch. All this stuff going south, right by my house. You know what I'm saying? Like to the doorstep almost. So I'm Gucci. I get a phone call, or better yet, I get a message on my phone that my wife got sick. She has seizure. It was pretty bad. What man? What's up? So with me, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, I really did wood when it come to being up like Gilbert Gottfried, up all night, USA. Y'all youngsters might not know nothing about Gilbert Gottfried, up all night, but that boy was up all night like he was on cocaine or something. I don't know what wrong with Gilbert Gottfried, but he was up all night and I was too. So I'm gonna say it like this. I started my morning. Listen to me good. I started my morning early in the morning, like in Jersey. I got stopped after I got that call about 2:30 in the morning the next morning below Nashville. Holla if you hear me. Holla if you hear me. For real. Throw a thumbs up if you just heard what I said. For real. If you just heard what I said, and you know like I know, when I say time over everything, I ain't bullshit. I started my day about 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, went and picked up a load in Jersey. 2:30 the next morning, got pulled over by one in the medium, Big Daddy. 2:30 in the morning. That bear was ferocious. That bear told, man, that bear knocked fire from my ass when he come out from behind them bushes, boy. Yes, sir, Tennessee Gauntlet, baby. When that bear come up out them wood, huggy bear come out that wood with them teeth out, man. And get what? Total lining out my ass. Now listen to that again. 6 a.m. 2:30 a.m. 6 a.m. 2:30 a.m. About 1,200 miles. About 11 something for real, y'all. About 11 something. I ain't had my ass on what they were talking about. When I heard my wife had a problem and I was in Philly, get what? I ain't had my ass on HOS in the world. I ain't had my ass on it. Whatever it is, gonna be, it gonna be. Get what? One thing I do know, they put me out serve 10 hours. I used to do some shit where you go to jail for the rest of your life. Man, come on. So I'm going home. That was my mindset until about 2:30 that morning. When Smokey Bear came up out of there growling, boy, with them blues on. And get what? When he walked up to the door, he greeted me, I greeted him, and proceeded to ask for that LOG book, that law book. Man, hey, I ain't play no game with him, man. I keep it at 1,000 to the point where, hey, man, I'm finna give you the law book. I'm finna give them to you, but they ain't right. What's up, babe? What's up? What's up? What's up? They ain't right. And he like, what you mean they ain't right? I said, man, they really, really ain't right. Ain't hey, they ain't right, man. I'm talking about like not a little bit. I'm talking about a lot ain't right. I'm talking about it ain't right. I'm gonna tell you like this. I had pulled a move. I'm not gonna tell you what move because I'm not encouraging nobody to do no shit like that. But in an emergency situation, I had pulled a move. And guess what? I came through swinging and banging on them fours out of come through there, doing about 3 miles an hour under the speed limit. 2:30 in the morning, jump out and get him. Homeboy put me out of serve. He told me just like this, you follow me up here to the next exit. You they got a parking lot up here behind this shell station, and you can post up right there for the next 10 hours, Big Daddy. I said, man, hey, God bless you. Cause get what? Right before he did that and went back there and studied them law, cause the man was confused as hell. When I tell y'all, the man went back there with and sent my log through the email to his phone and sat back there every bit of 45 minutes looking at that shit cross-eyed. Like, what is, whoa, what the, how? How? The man, I'm telling you like this. Besides that, he scared me half to death. I can't, I'm tell you like this. He came back to the car and was talking to the truck and was asking me about, you know what I'm saying? Basically, man had a look of like pure disbelief on his face, like, how? Like how is that possible? You know what I'm saying? What is this? You know what I'm saying? And I explained to him what was going on and everything. And he just so happened to have misplaced his small notepad that he was taking notes on. And he was this 2:30. That's now it's probably like 3:20 in the morning by this time. We had been out there a long time, y'all, because it was a lot to say about this shit right here. Because it was a lot going on with that law book. It was a whole lot going on with that law book, y'all, for real. And right then and there, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was straight up with him, and he was straight up with me because I told him, I know you got a job to do, man. You know, at the same time, I got a job to do, and I'm trying to see about my wife and everything. No, you can't let me leave this spot right here, knowing I done drove well over. Ah, man, sorry about that, y'all. I'm put it in a little safer spot, knowing damn well I done drove well over a grand. Well over. I'm talking well over a grand in less than 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? And it's to the point where, hey man, if you leave this spot right here and something bad happens, they gonna wonder why I let you go. And that ain't what he told me, but that's what I know the business to be. So you know what I'm saying? Whatever the issue was, the punishment was, I was ready to accept it when I first turned the key and said I was coming home. You know what I'm saying? But knowing there are consequences for your actions now. Real talk. Yeah. Sorry about that, you guys. Ran through a bad area. But like I said, that one violation, to be honest with you, I've had a few owner operators and some drivers and stuff, and I had a couple of owner operators that were working with the company to get some violations that shit don't even compare to. I don't know what I'm talking about because we be on the phone talking about it. Well, it's a violation these people done got on this number that is unfathomable. I'm talking about atrocious. I'm talking about like what the like for real. So, I looked at this one, and each violation has a time penalty, it has a severity weight, and they use that multiplication factor to come up with how bad is this violation. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the weight that one carried in combination with, because he gave me like three different counter violations about that law, and I ain't gonna tell you what they were because you might try some shit. But I'm gonna say it like this: that violation was so severe that the weight penalty multiplied by the severity penalty, the number that it ended up being, which summarizes your whole event of that event, was more than pretty much. I had like 16 inspections. It was more than like 9 of those that were that could have been bad or anything. It was more than all those almost combined. And like I said, I had a couple owner operators get some really bad ones that were right up there with this one. I'm talking about on the severity side, and really a little bit higher. But with that being said, I looked at that. I said, "Hey, it's gonna be audit soon. I don't know when. I know they got the COVID stuff going. They're way in September now, and so that's why I say it ain't no surprise when you see your insurance go sky high because you being a clown. Mine ain't moved because of that. It wasn't nothing like that. But at the same time, when you go back and renew and you done had all these incidents, damage claims, this and that and the other, and all that, and your insurance go up, you can't be mad. And when it's time to have a safety audit, and you've been out here getting these violations, and you know you really haven't been just on your game like you should have in certain ways, you can't be mad or surprised. So that's why I call BS on that whole little thing old boy had going on, because that shit was brewing a long time before he modified that piece of equipment. Believe that. Believe that shit. So, with that being said, I knew one was coming. So, you know, I realized, tried to correct what really wasn't correctable. And you're like, Jonathan, how you correct the safety score? You already said they wasn't doing inspections at the time. How you get good inspections when they ain't doing inspections? You can't. But what you can do in the meantime, while you know all this stuff finna happen to you, you might want to put your best foot forward and do the type of measures and some of the things that I did to actually, you know what I'm saying, when this investigation takes place and you give them all this documentation, what can you show that you've done to correct what was going on at the time when it triggered the audit? Some might say you might want to send yourself through some professional supervisor level training in the areas of alcohol and drug and supervising workplaces and safety. Safety, safety. Some might say you might want to enroll in a CDL school and get you about 122 hours of class time dealing with hours of service and get you about another 140, 150, 180 hours of some seat time and some pre-trip and all that there. You might want to perhaps do some of that. So you can at least, even if you ain't being able to correct it, you can at least show where measures have been taken. And get what? You might want to do it out your pocket. So you can show that there has been a conscious effort. I ain't say go up there and lie at the job, something like since you work for yourself and don't nobody know it, you go up there and say you ain't got no job and they pay for you to go to truck driving school and you fuck around and end up driving for KLLM somewhere by accident, which is silly. I ain't said do that. I said come on up out your pocket. Because all this stuff is about personal accountability to the point where if you don't do it, who gonna do it? So get what? Hey, sometimes you gotta slow down and go faster, like I told y'all. So at the same time, I slowed down on pulling the load and threw myself in school. It was a dual purpose. I go ahead and get my CDL, get some way better training on some stuff, and present this right here as what it is, an effort to improve the safety and well-being of my company as a whole, and pull this motherfucking freight line up out the goddamn shop. Come on up out there, boy. Come on back, driver. We finna come on up out there and pull some weight. I got another U90 run on here right now, y'all. It's a cold crane. Smash that button. Show some love. That's what they said. Smash that button and show some love, boy. Hey, man. Hey, real talk. Now, it's some certain stuff that, like I said, you can't fix it, but you can work on it. Even if you can't fix it, you can work on it. Anybody else had a truck that had a low compression? Hey, man, you can work on it, but you know what I'm saying? You really can't fix that. You got to rebuild that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do some drastic stuff. So same thing apply. You gotta stop looking at the money, because if you were doing right by the money, you'll have some money. You'll be able to take about 40 days out like I did when it's time to do that. And you need to have your records together. You need to have all your logs. You need to have everything you ever ran.